Hi folks, this is Vicki at patternprincess.com. Today I want to show you how to work this really cute ribbed border. This is a nice border for your crochet blankets, placemats, scarves, cowls, all kinds of things. And this is just using the single crochet back loop. But when you're working it, attaching it to a project, sometimes it can be kind of confusing to figure out how to ease the stitches along the sides and along the top and bottom. And so this is just going to be a simple, this is a sample already. I just do it on the sides first. This one I have not done yet, this side. But I just do it on the sides first. And then rather than around the corner, I'm just going to start the next part off this way and work here. And of course, in the next one will be here. So you put the sides first, and then we'll work either the top or bottom. And then that way it'll be nicely rounded out, and I'll show you what that looks like. But this is just some samples that I had on a different blanket and pattern that I did. And so here's how it looks on one side. So I'm going to get my loop on my hook. It's really, really simple. Now this border here, this is, I have a ruler here. I don't have a tape measure with me. This is using about a medium weight yarn. It's a Caron 1 pound, I believe, and a size I hook. And this is 6 stitches, chain stitches when I started. And then when you start in the second loop, you have 5 stitches left each row. So this is about 1.5 inches border, a little bit more than 1.5 inches, but about a good 1.5 inches. Of course, if you doubled this, if you really wanted a nicer, wider border, which I did on a different blanket, I did it 11 stitches, so there was 10 stitches long. It's about a 3-inch border. So you can see how much bigger that would be, but you can have it, however many stitches, doesn't matter. However wide you want your border, that's how many stitches you do, okay? The sample today, though, I'm going to be using chaining 6 and then working into the second stitch, so we'll have 5 stitches we'll be working with. Okay, so I have this side done. I'm going to go over and work on this side. So I'm just going to join my yarn into the end here. Just join it into the end stitches. I have my slip knot on my hook. I'm just going to bring it through and snug this all up. Later on, I'll weave in that yarn tail, okay? So now we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, then we're going to skip this loop. We don't count the loop on the hook. We're going to skip this stitch here. We're going to work into this stitch. And we're going to do a single crochet in the back, or I should say in the loop. There isn't a back loop at this point yet. That's coming. And then the next one, 2. We go 3. And then the last one, okay? All right, it kind of curls up. It's okay, it'll straighten out. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a slip stitch right back into the spot where we joined our yarn. So we're going to insert our hook, yarn over, bring it through, and then bring it through that loop on the hook. Then we're going to do 2 more slip stitches. So 1 in the next stitch, and because this is the side, I'm just kind of guesstimating. I'm going to get this tail out of the way, where that stitch might be. I don't want to place it too far apart. You got to kind of think about how many stitches, and then 1 more slip stitch. Think about where the stitches would be placed if you were just doing single crochet. That's what I do. Okay, so now we're going to turn this way. We're going to turn it. Now we're going to skip those 3 slip stitches. 1, 2, 3. So right here in this stitch here, we're going to do a back loop single crochet. And it's okay if your first stitch kind of seems wide and loose here. That's okay. It'll all work out. See that? There's 1. And we've done this stitch. Now we're going to go to the next. 2 single crochets in the back loop. 3. And then we have 4 in the back loop only, not through both loops. And then 1 more gives us our 5, okay? Now we're going to turn it again So you're going to keep flipping it. And if you're doing a big blanket or something, like I was just recently doing, I just kept folding the blanket over me because it's hard to flip the whole thing. So chain 1, that does not count as a stitch. You're going to do a back loop again, not this loop, but the back loop, and work a single crochet. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's going to be 1 more. Oh, I'm catching the yarn from the other stitch. There we go, 5. We're going to slip stitch right back into the base, and then 2 slip stitches over. So 1, and then 2. And again, like I said, we're just kind of guesstimating where those stitches are. Flip it back over, and this is the whole thing, all the way to the end. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to work our slip stitch into that first, or I should say our single crochet into that first stitch. We're skipping those slip stitches. There's 1, and it's a back loop. 2, 3, 4, and this is it. And when you get to the end, when you're done, if you're done going out on the row, if you're even, that's where you stop and you just weave in the end. If you have to come back, then come back to make it even on the end, because that way your ends are nice and even. Okay, I'm gonna turn this, and then I'm gonna stop here, and I'll do the other way just so you can see that. Chain 1, and then the back loop in the very first stitch, and then the next 4 of them here, we're going to do a back loop, single crochet. All right, and this is the whole pattern all the way to the end. And then we do our slip stitch in the base, and a slip stitch in the next 2 stitches. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and then we would continue on. See that? All right, and this is how it's looking. This is the back side, and then this is the front side. The front side looks much nicer. So I'll make sure when I add this, I'm working it towards the front side, because the front looks nicer than the back side. Okay, so if you have, like this happens to be a cabled sample that I've made for another blanket, I want the front side looking nicer. So that's how you do that part. So now I'm going to cut my yarn. This is just a sample here. So now we're going to work here. And then we just work over the top this way. But it's exact same pattern, exact same stitches. The only thing different is figuring out where to place your stitches. And it's the same concept. Just take, what did I say? Kind of take a guess at where your next stitch is. It's really nice when you have a top and bottom that have the chain stitches that you work into, because then you know exactly where your stitches are. That makes it easy. So here we go. Okay, we're going to join our yarn in the corner. Anywhere in the corner, we'll go right here. And so we do have stitches here to work into on this part. And do we? Yes, we do have it on the other part too. All right, pull that tight, snug. And we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoop, whoop, whoop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to skip, not count the loop, but we're going to skip the first stitch. And the next one, we're going to do a single crochet. And then we'll do a single crochet in each stitch down. And there's 1. I can't get the second here. There. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And again, we slip stitch right where we started. That's looking not like much right now. And then 2 more slip stitches. 1 and the next stitch, and 1 and the next stitch. Turn this around. And you just got this curly thing hanging off the side. That's okay. It's going to look nice in a little bit. Okay, now we do our back loop, single crochet. We're going to skip the 3 slip stitches. 1, 2, 3. So right here, we're going to do back loop, single crochet. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we turn it again. Chain 1. In that first stitch, work a back loop. Single crochet, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, we slip stitch back into that bottom, and then you just do a slip stitch in the next 2 stitches. 1. You see how we just continue on? And here, this is the row I ended on. And so it's really nice to be able to see your stitches where you are going to put your slip stitches in. And now you just continue on, and now this will be, you'll have your border now running this way, and you will end over here. All right, you'll end over here, and you'll have this all the way along the edge. So that's how you do the ribbed border on a blanket. And like I said, I didn't go around the curve. I just sides first and then top and bottom. You could do it the other way. You could do the top and bottom first and then the sides. But most of the time I do the sides first and then the top and then the bottom. And then just trim off your yarn and weave it all in and trim off any excess. But I hope that this helps you. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll have a pattern that uses this soon on the website. And of course, it's always free on the website, patternprincess.com. Take care. Have fun crocheting.